And now, from 12 Studios, this is News 12 Now.
Today is Wednesday, May 29th. Welcome to News 12 Now. I'm Kylee Dedmon. Well, more Texomans could soon be out of a job, this time in Paris at the Campbell Soup plant. According to MyParisTexas.com, several workers at the plant say the company announced to its employees yesterday that the soup side of the plant is closing. However, in a statement from Campbell's, the company says while it has not made a final decision, its intention is to transform the Paris site into a sauce-only facility and transfer soup production to another location. Now, if that happens, nearly half of the 680 jobs at the Paris plant would be eliminated. The plant has been in production in Paris for 60 years. In addition to soup, both Prego Italian sauces and pace salsa are produced at the facility. American Airlines is being sued by 3 black men who allege racial discrimination on a flight. According to the suit, 7 black male passengers were removed from American Airlines Flight 832 on January 5th. The filing says an airline representative ordered each man off the plane due to a complaint about their body odor. However, an American Airlines representative said it was because of race. The men eventually reboarded after the airline determined there were no other available flights for them to be moved to. In a statement, American Airlines says it takes all claims of discrimination seriously and is investigating the matter. Today, Walgreens announced that it is cutting prices on more than 1,500 items online and at its stores. Now, this comes after retailers hiked up prices as inflation spiked in recent years. But now, consumers aren't shopping like they used to. Walmart hopes the cuts will encourage consumers to spend more freely on both essential items like food and more discretionary items like clothes and home decor. For some students, schools is the only place they are given nutritious meals. Local districts are starting free summer meal programs to ensure students are fed even when schools are closed. Sherman ISD began its meal program yesterday at Nebelet Elementary.
Anyone under the age of 18 is eligible, and if up to 21 if they're registered with the district and the special needs.
Any child in the community, even if they do not attend SISD, can get a free breakfast and lunch from the district. Other campuses will start giving out meals next week. For dates, times, and locations for the free meal program, visit this story on our website at KXII.com. And we will hear from meteorologist Brian Briggs shortly, but more rain is in the forecast this week. And with Texoma already saturated, it could lead to more flooding. And that means you'll need to be extra cautious when you hit the roads. Just 6 inches of water can stall your engine, and less than an inch of water can seep into your tires if they're in poor condition. Riley Fletcher with AAA Oklahoma says when you're out on the roads, it's important to keep a safe following distance and make sure you can adjust to road conditions as they change.
It was a beautiful morning this morning with very comfortable temperatures. We actually got to the low to mid 60s and low humidity out there. It has just been so nice. And really, I think the best part of it was the fact that we didn't have any showers or thunderstorms to track. So yeah, it's been a quiet day, at least so far. And right now we're not tracking anything. And it is beautiful out there, to say the least. And we're going to be dealing with a mix of sun and clouds through the day today with very seasonal temperatures in place. And I'd say definitely enjoy today because we do have several more rain chances on the way beginning as early as tomorrow, with some severe weather potential returning as well. And then are we looking warmer and drier permanently next week, at least in terms of several days? We'll let you know coming up here in just a little bit. Back to you, Kylee.
All right, thank you, Brian. Well, Texas Senator Ted Cruz stopped by Austin Bergstrom International Airport yesterday to highlight the impacts of the FAA Reauthorization Act being signed into law. Senator Cruz says the FAA Reauthorization Act is designed to enhance aviation. He calls the bill an historic investment into aviation, aviation safety, and aviation jobs. He adds safety is his #1 priority. He brought up last year's near misses at ABAI and says this bill can help with a shortage of air traffic controllers the airport is experiencing.
It Directs the FAA to hire the maximum number of air traffic controllers. One of the problems leading to the rising number of near misses is a shortage of controllers.
Senator Cruz says the bill also invests $4 billion into airports across the country. Part of that money will go towards installing air traffic monitoring equipment on the runway for controllers to act before a near miss occurs. Senator Cruz says this bill will also add more protections for the average flyer and mentioned it possibly lowering airline prices. Well, Houston police are investigating the death of a woman whose remains were found in the jaws of an alligator. Take a listen to this. The woman was reported missing overnight Monday, according to local media. Her cause of death has not yet been determined. Meanwhile, police have euthanized the alligator. Fatal alligator attacks are rare in Texas, with the last one being in 2015 when a man was killed while swimming in a bayou. Well, the jury in former President Donald Trump's hush money case in New York has begun deliberations. Trump faces felony counts, and the 12 Manhattan residents are tasked with reaching a unanimous decision on each of them. Before deliberations get underway, the judge overseeing the trial issued crucial instructions laying out the legal issues the jurors must consider and the conclusions they must reach if they intend to find Trump guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Well, parents in one Southern California community are outraged after a teen suspected of planning to commit a mass shooting at their children's school will avoid jail time. Fox's Gina Silva has more.
This isn't about politics or tough on crime or whatever you want to call it. This is about public safety.
Shocking and shameful is how these parents are describing a plea deal offered to 18-year-old Sebastian Villaseñor, seen here posing with assault rifles and other weapons. He is accused of planning a mass shooting at Ontario Christian High School.
During his interview, he specifically named 5 children at the school, one of which was my daughter, and his goal was to blow their heads off.
Back in February, when a tip led to the arrest of Villaseñor, Ontario police stated the 18-year-old admitted he had been planning to kill students at his school.
When we arrested Villaseñor at his residence, we collected numerous weapons: 7 rifles, 2 revolvers, 1 handgun, and 1 shotgun.
The investigation revealed that Villaseñor allegedly had an obsession with school shootings and was plotting a massacre on the 25th anniversary of the Columbine shooting. The detectives also discovered disturbing online searches.
Over 4,000 searches. He was searching things like how to rip out a human being's throat with his bare hands, how much pressure that physically took, what kind of bullets will pierce the police officers' bulletproof vests when they get here.
Villaseñor was charged with 5 counts of attempted murder and 1 count of attempted criminal threats. He pled not guilty. Now, these parents say the San Bernardino District Attorney has notified them of a plea deal that includes no prison time, 3 years of felony probation, and an order to stay away from Ontario Christian and the intended victims.
And I feel the public should be well aware of this, that they are allowing this person back into the streets.
I can't imagine this same DA feeling the same way and making these same choices if this was his child.
Villaseñor's attorney issued a statement that says in part, "We have always maintained Sebastian's total and complete innocence to the attempted murder charges and the claim he allegedly plotted or planned a school shooting." The proposed plea agreement seems to reflect an understanding that those allegations could never be proven in a criminal trial.
And that was Fox's Gina Silva reporting. Well, U.S.-made munitions were used in the deadly Israeli strike on a displacement camp in Rafah on Sunday. At least 45 people were killed and more than 200 others injured after a fire broke out following the Israeli military strike on the outskirts of Gaza's southernmost city. Most of them women and children, according to the Gaza Health Ministry and Palestinian medics. U.S.-made munitions were identified with a CNN analysis of video from the scene and a review by explosive weapon experts. This attack was part of the breaking point causing the UN's top court, the International Court of Justice, to ordering Israelis to stop the battle in civilian-filled areas, calling the locals a target of genocide. However, despite all of this, Israel's offensive against Hamas in the city of Rafah appears to be expanding. Palestinians in southern Gaza say dozens of people have been killed in this week's Israeli attacks. Amitzia Tayyib has more.
Palestinians, stricken with grief, mourn for the at least 20 killed in a strike on this camp for displaced people. While a short distance away, at a different camp in Rafah, more dead and more wounded. Israel's military continues to insist it isn't behind the attacks on the two encampments, amid reports it's moving tanks into Rafah's city center. And as the Israeli military announced this morning, 3 of its soldiers had been killed while fighting in southern Gaza. 3 more were badly wounded. The worsening violence follows an Israeli airstrike on Sunday night, which triggered a massive fire in what's being called the Tent Massacre. Bodies at the Tel El Sultan camp for displaced civilians were burned and mutilated beyond recognition. CBS News' Ed O'Keefe pressed National Security spokesman John Kirby on the Israeli strike.
How many more charred corpses does he have to see before the president considers a change in policy?
We don't want to see a single more innocent life taken, and I kind of take a little offense at the question. No civilian casualties is the right number of civilian casualties, and this is not something that we've turned a blind eye to, nor has it been something we've ignored or neglected to raise with our Israeli counterparts.
Israel says it's investigating the attack, which triggered a mass displacement of civilians the UN says it's struggling to contain. And as the U.S. military built $320 million humanitarian pier will be out of commission for at least a week after part of the causeway broke away in rough seas.
And with international fury at the killings of civilians in Gaza only growing, the Biden administration continues to insist it has no change in policy following the tent massacre in Rafah because it was caused by an airstrike and not a major Israeli ground invasion. Imtiaz Tayyib, CBS News, East Jerusalem.
Biden has withheld the latest round of missiles meant to go to Israel, which has prompted many politicians to show their support. 3 days after the attack on Rafah, American politician Nikki Haley wrote, quote, "America heart Israel, finish them," end quote, on a bomb meant for Gaza. Photos from Knesset member Danny Danon shows Haley signing the bomb yesterday during her visit to North Israel. One of the images shows a close-up of her note. The images were taken during Haley's tour of the Israel-Lebanon border, local media reported. Now, speaking to local media, Haley said that America stands by Israel and told Israel to not stop until they won. Israel continues to assert that it adheres to the international law. The war has killed nearly 36,000 Palestinians, according to Gaza's health ministry, which does not distinguish between civilians and fighters in its count. Around 80% of Gaza's 2.3 million people have fled their homes. Severe hunger is widespread, and UN officials say parts of the territory are experiencing famine.
Thank you for watching today's News 12 Now. Make sure to subscribe so you find out why Texoma turns to us. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook, where you'll see more social media exclusive content. Want more News 12 Now? Watch us live every weekday through the KXII app on your phone or TV and through our website.